It's been roughly about 8 months now since I've been living a holistic life, being completely sober from the weed, and I decided I wanted to record this video because I wanted to share with you, how I'm able to stay so consistent, how I'm able to stay so focused and not allow weed to come back in my life. Why I haven't relapsed. And I see this as a major problem, right? A lot of people are in this cycle of, quitting weed for 1 or 2 months, then relapsing, then quitting weed for 1 or 2 months, then relapsing, then they go back to weed for like 6 months, then they try to quit again, right? And they've got this, toxic relationship with, quitting, relapsing, right? It's just a never-ending sort of cycle. And I wanted to share with you what works for me, right? And for those that don't know my story, I was someone that was addicted, heavily to weed for 10 years of my life, smoking it daily. And February 2024, this year, we're in October now as I'm recording this video, I made the conscious decision to, go all in and quit the weed, right? I'd never tried to quit weed at all in my life, but I made the conscious decision to quit it this year in February. At the same time, I decided I wanted to, document my journey, create like a vlog series, right? Like day 1 to day 30. And I went all in. I, recorded everything, all the withdrawals I went through and, how I was feeling and the whole process, right? And I did that for 2 reasons, right? One, to hold myself accountable. And 2, I knew that at the same time, I was able to, help someone else going through the problem, right? I was able to inspire someone else who wants to completely quit weed, right? And, if you haven't watched my series, if you're in the process of quitting weed, you're having trouble quitting it, I highly recommend you watch it. It's a day 1 to day 30 series. I've also made on top of that a quit weed blueprint, like an A to Z blueprint of, how you can completely get off weed, what the withdrawals are, what you can do to, substitute the weed with. But more or less, this video I wanted to dive deeper into, how I'm able to stay sober and how I'm able to, live a life where I don't relapse, right? So, firstly, I'd like to say that the first step to, staying sober is understanding the root cause, right? You want to understand firstly, why you started smoking in the first place. For me, it was, I had initially, growing up with childhood trauma, being in a sort of, destructive household, forming, I guess, social circles where, people in those social circles were all, abusing weed, abusing drugs, and I had issues, sleeping at night. I had like a racing mind. And that was my main root cause, right? Your root cause might be different to mine, right? Obviously. But more or less, you got to analyze, what the root cause is, right? Why did you start smoking in the first place? So you'll need to obviously, put some thought into it, right? Maybe write it down, why you actually started smoking. From there, once you work out, the root cause of it, or once I worked out the root cause of why I started, smoking, when I made the conscious decision in February to quit, I looked back at that root cause and I was like, why do I actually smoke? I don't need this in my life. It's holding me back, right, to a certain degree. It's not allowing me to operate, 100%. It's not allowing me to function 100% of it, at 100% capability. I was still getting things done, right? I was still functioning. I was still, operating a business at that time. I was still, waking up early. I had a morning routine. I was getting shredded, right? I was into fitness and everything like that. I still am. I was getting things done, right? I was a fairly productive person. I wasn't someone that, at that point in my life, I wasn't someone who was just smoking all day, right? That was more or less, problems I was dealing with sort of, last year. sort of start of last year, but more or less this year I had, created a good routine in my life structure, but I was still reliant on the weed, right? I still told myself for some reason, I still need it at night to calm me down, right? To help me, cure that racing mind, put me to sleep a lot easier, smoking after a workout, help me feel really calm and relaxed. But realistically, I didn't need it, right? I knew I didn't need it because I wasn't escaping reality anymore, right? I didn't need to run away from the things that first caused me to smoke in the first place. And after realizing that, I knew I had formed an addiction, right? A dependency on the drug to calm my racing mind down, give me, that safety net that I was going to get, guaranteed sleep. I was able to fall asleep a lot quicker. But it was impacting me when it came to, how I would perform during the day, right? I'd feel, a bit tired at times during the day. I wasn't able to remember certain things, right? Things that I should be remembering. If I was reading a book, if I was learning a skill, I'd forget those things, right? So I'd be operating at like 67, 70%. And I knew that if I kept aligning myself with weed and depending on it, and having that psychological dependency, that I wasn't going to obtain the goals that I truly wanted in my life, right? I wasn't able to go all in, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to go all in. I wanted to reach my goals. I want to leave a legacy behind, right? I wanted to have success in my life, and I know you want that too, right? So I had wanted to, open my eyes up further and be like, I don't need this in my life, right? I don't actually need this. So I overcame that root cause, right? I overcame that sort of fear I had, right? And just realized that I've just got a nasty habit, a psychological dependency on the drug. And I can do this, right? I can do this. I don't need it, right? And I want you to even look at your life where it's at the moment. Do you actually need it, right? Is it something that you need? Because it's restricting you from operating, through your highest self. And I knew that, right? It was impacting my life. So it's definitely going to be impacting yours. But more or less, I came to terms with things, right? And that's the first step. So more or less just understanding the root cause, And once you do that, you're able to look into the next step, right? And this is the number one key that I want you to take away from this video, right? This is actually going to allow you to completely stay off weed and allow you to, not be in that destructive cycle of quitting, relapsing, right? Going back to it, having that nasty relationship with the drug, right? Because you're going to find that if you don't pay attention to this, this key that I'm going to discuss with you, right? This key takeaway that you can take from this video, you're going to find yourself in this never-ending sort of cycle with weed, right? It's going to always be a part of your life and not be a part of your life and always be a part of your life. And you're never going to attain to becoming the best version of yourself, right? You need to completely give it up. And this is the thing. It starts with understanding that you need to have goal-specific habits in your life, okay? I'm going to explain deeper. Now, before looking into the goal-specific habits, you must change your environment, right? You cannot be in the same environment that you're in currently right now. So if your social circle is, smoker buddies, right? And that's basically all your relationship is, like having a smoking relationship, because you'll know this, right? Or you'll come to realization with this. When you quit weed, you realize that you don't actually have much in common with these people, right? These smoker friends that you may have known for a long time, right? And I had friends that, or so-called friends that, I'd smoke with consistently, but when you subtract the weed, we've got nothing in common, right? And I knew this too. It's just we all just had addictions, but more or less, I wanted more out of life. I wasn't happy settling for less. And I know you're not either, right? But I made the conscious decision to remove myself from this social circle and realize that I didn't have things in common with these particular people. So I changed my environment, right? Because one thing that's going to be very difficult for you, right, is willpower alone, right? A lot of people think, yeah, I've got the willpower, I can do this, right? And let me tell you something. I have seen it, I've been a witness to this, right? I've seen people, in that particular social circle that I was a part of, quit the weed, right? They'd be around us, at the time smoking, and they wouldn't smoke, right? They'd be like, nah, I'm good. I don't need it. I'm happy to be around it. So it makes me stronger. 1 month later, they're back on it, right? Willpower alone is not enough. You need to change your environment, okay? And once you do that, you don't have little triggers around you, right? You're basically able to focus on a clear path. And the next necessity that you need to add, right, to staying sober is, as I said before, goal-specific habits, okay? And what I mean by that is this. You can watch all these YouTube videos where someone will say, yeah, you got to have, change your habits. You need to, go to the gym, start eating clean. You need to, do this, do that, right? But you're more or less someone who is trying to find his way. He knows what's good, right? What's going to benefit him. You're obviously aware of it. But more or less, you don't have a target goal with that habit, right? So if I said to you, all right, just go to the gym, you know that that's going to help you, right? You know that's a good habit that's going to benefit your life and allow you to, change or transition into a new person. But by me just saying, go to the gym, you go to the gym for about 1, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4, you're going to end up stopping the gym. Why? Because you don't have a roadmap within that specific habit. You need to have a roadmap within your habits, and you need to have the ability where you can, reach that outcome, right? So for example, if it's going to the gym, you need to have a roadmap, right? What do you want to actually accomplish out of, going to the gym? Because no one sticks to routines or habits unless they've got a roadmap attached to it, right? They need that, or you will need that sort of end result in your mind, right? Because once you achieve those goals within the habit that you're trying to, attach to your life, be that new version of you. When you start seeing results, you start building more self-esteem. You start feeling more confident in yourself because you're basically reaching goals and you're like, you know what, if I can reach this particular goal with this habit, I can reach another goal with another habit, right? And then you start stacking up more things to your life, right? And you start adding, to your total personal development journey, you becoming the best version of yourself, mentally, physically, spiritually, right? And that's the key here. You need to have a specific roadmap with these habits. And that's why a lot of people fall off. They don't either replace their bad habits with good habits, or if they do try to do it, they don't stick to those habits because they don't reach a goal within that habit, right? Because anyone can tell you, you got to do this, you got to do that. But if you don't have a roadmap, if you don't have a GPS telling you, how you can, what you need to do to actually get that end result and how long that will take, right? You're going to fall off the bandwagon, okay? You're going to be like, this is too much for me, right? And then you're going to go back to your old ways, right? And then you're going to end up relapsing again. So more or less, my ability to stay consistent was having, a powerful morning routine, right? A powerful morning routine, a daily routine, like having these daily routines, right? I focused more or less, how I was thinking, how can I get better, right? At the moment, as I said in February, I still had routine in my life. I still had structure, but there was always room for improvement for me, right? So I basically decided, once I remove this, how can I become even a better version of myself? And that's what I focused on, right? The morning routines. How can I develop a better morning routine, right? That's going to, help me create a better version of me. I I went all in with that, with my fitness. How can I take my fitness to the next level? How can I be more healthier, right? How can I aesthetically transform my body, more better, right? I focused on these specific things in finer detail. I was able to put more focus into these particular things that I already had, structured in my life, even at that point when I quit weed. But more or less, I just went all in, right? And I started a YouTube channel, right? And, my goal with that is to help inspire others, right? To help others on their personal development journey. Staying consistent, right? I then decided to hire a coach, have a mentor in my life, a personal development mentor, right? Who allowed me to, help me become a better version of myself in certain areas, right? That I needed improvement in. And that's the key, bro. And this is what you need to do. And that then creates momentum. And once you got momentum, once you start stacking up daily wins, once you start staying consistent, once you start showing up for yourself, once you start becoming the best version of yourself, right? Stacking up those daily wins, aligning yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, you start falling in love with the process, right? Then you develop, a habit of sticking to that process, because that process is only making you better. It's all about momentum, right? And momentum in the right way. And that's what's allowed me to stay focused, right? Because I look at the bigger picture. I don't have time to smoke weed. I don't want to go backwards. I want to focus on creating the best me. I want to reach those goals that I want to reach, right? Those business ventures that I want in my life. And I stay focused on the process, and I show up for myself each and every day. And that's what's allowed me to stay off the weed. A lot of people relapse because they just don't have a goal-specific habit in their life, okay? And there's not much to feel, I guess, for their life to feel rewarding in a way, right? After quitting the weed, after quitting the substance. And that's where, you'll find yourself, quitting, relapsing. It'll just be a never-ending cycle, man, because obviously you're quitting for a reason, right? You are done with it, right? But you relapse because what you're doing in your life is not working, right? Those habits that you're trying to implement, those good habits, you're not able to stick to them because you don't have a roadmap for those habits. You're not seeing progress in those habits. And then you're like, you know what? You start feeling shit about yourself, right? Your self-esteem goes down. Your confidence goes down, and then you end up back on the drug, and then you sort of give in when you know that there's a better version of you out there, right? It's just you need to tap into it. But more or less, it comes down to having goal-specific habits. That's what worked for me, right? That's what's working for me, okay? That's what allows me to keep grounded, right? It allows me to focus on the things that I actually want to attain in this life, create, the best version of myself, give that to those around me, help inspire others with the content that I create, right? There's a bigger purpose here rather than me just focusing on, trying to develop a new habit, but I can't stick with it, right? And that's the problem. A lot of people just can't stick with habits. They don't have a roadmap. They don't have a structured guideline, right? And this is one key takeaway I want you to take from this video, right? It's to structure a daily system that's non-negotiable, and literally just show up for yourself each and every day, okay? And then you'll find that once you're on the path of this positive momentum, right, that's formed in your life, you won't fall off the bandwagon, right? Because you start looking at the better version of you, start falling in love with the better version of you, start realizing that doors are unlocking in your life, and you're like, you know what, why would I want to go backwards when my life is only getting better, right? And you come so close to finding that with yourself, but because you don't have a structured roadmap in your life, you fall off the bandwagon and you find yourself in that quitting, relapsing sort of cycle, and eventually you'll find yourself going back to the drug and accepting that, this is part of my life. So I don't want that for you, bro, because if I can do it, you can do it, right? I'm not any better than you, right? We are the same person. I'm not smarter than you, right? It's just I had structure with my habits. I had a roadmap with my habits. I had goals that I attained with my habits. I reached them, and then I keep just raising the bar up higher and higher and higher, bro. And that just keeps me more aligned, bro. Keeps my vision focused, right? And I just really want you to take this key message from the video, bro. I want you to literally just understand that by having goal-specific habits, it's going to allow you to stay focused. It's going to allow you to stay disciplined. It's going to allow you to stay hungry for wanting more out of life, right? Because once you reach a certain goal, you raise the bar higher. You reach that goal, raise it higher, and that's how you develop yourself into a better version, bro, right? So, look, man, I want to end this video here. If you're new to my channel, if you resonate with my content, you got some sort of value from this video, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me, keep making more valuable content to help you out on your personal development journey. But other than that, have a blessed and beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.